Okay, the next thing we're looking at is what happens if we reflect our equation or our point in a line. So right now we've been looking at the x or the y-axis. What we're doing here is we're looking at if a function or a point is reflected in a line x equals a or y equals b. So if it's x equals a, well then it's reflected around a line where x equals a, or if it's y equals b, well then it's horizontal, whatever that may be. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the point 3 and 1 in the line x equals 1, and then we're going to look at the equation y equals x minus 4 all squared in x minus 1. And hopefully this will give us an idea as to how we go about doing this. So just like before, we've got a point 3 and 1. We know 3 and 1 is going to be somewhere over here. So based on that, and if our line here, hang on, that's going to be somewhere out here, and if our line here is x equals 1, we know that point is going to be somewhere over here. So if we're reflecting that in that line, well then we're 2 away from the line x equals 1, so we've got to go back 2, so we're going to be about there. So I'd be saying that's going to be at 1 and 1, but let's have a look. So to apply this, what we do is, if we're reflecting in the line x equals a, so we take our points. So the first thing we do, we put in our matrix. So -1, 0, 0, 1. And then our coordinates in the form of a 2 by 1, 3 and 1. Then we're going to say plus 2a, so it's going to be 2. And in this case, a equals 1, so it's going to be 2 times 1, which ends up being 2 and 0 there. So over here, we'd end up with the top, we'd get -3 and 1. So we'll do our multiplication first, then we do our addition, plus 2 and 0. So over here we have -3 plus 2. We end up with -1 and 0. Sorry, -1 and 1. So there we go, I was a bit off, so it's not just going to be reflected in there. We're going to end up with the point going out there. So our coordinates end up being -1 and 1. So that's what we've ended up with there, -1 and 1. Okay, now that we've done that, hopefully we'll have an idea as to what we're looking for when we've got this. So we've got y equals x minus 4 all squared in x equals 1. So we set it up the same way. Now for dealing with equations, we set up our matrices, x dashed and y dashed, because that's what we're trying to find, will equal our in x equals, so we want that. So it'll be -1, 0, 0, 1. Put in x and y if we're dealing with the function, plus 2a, and once again it's going to be 2 times 1, which is just 2, and 0. From there we carry out our multiplication, so we end up with -x and y plus 2 and 0. So from there we say that x dashed equals -x plus 2 and y dashed equals y. So remember what we want to write this in terms of x. So this will become x dashed minus 2, and that becomes -x. So then x becomes -x plus 2. And then from there, we substitute into our equation. So instead of y, we put in y dashed equals, and now instead of x, we put in our x dashed. So we end up with x dashed plus 2 minus 4 all squared. And then we have x plus 2 minus 4, we end up with minus 2 all squared. So there, what was x minus 4 has now been reflected to x minus 2.